Hello, everyone, and welcome to Pinterest Performance Plus webinar. Just a quick note before we start. Please use the audio settings button on the bottom left corner to adjust your audio options or open this meeting directly in Zoom using the link below. I'm not seeing the slides right now, team. You see them? Oh, okay. I can't see any of the slides to know what slide we're on. Okay, interesting. My coworkers, this is why we do this in the office together. I can see the slides over there. Can't see them on my Zoom. This is why we were made flexible. Thank you all. Sorry for that technical difficulty, but I'm Ashley Jones and I am the product marketing manager here at Pinterest. And today I'm joined by my colleagues, Murali Varadaraj and Jared Sandlin to help with our agenda. So over the course of 45 minutes, we're going to help you maximize performance on Pinterest. First, we'll introduce you to the value of Pinterest Performance Plus. Second, we'll dive into the Pinterest Performance Plus product suite with real success stories about how Performance Plus helped brands drive better media outcomes. Third, we're going to guide you through a step-by-step walkthrough of how to create a Performance Plus campaign. Fourth, we're going to review Performance Plus reporting and editing features with best practices. And then lastly, we're going to wrap it up with learning resources and Q&A. All right, so let's dive in to our introduction for Performance Plus. So on October 2nd, at our annual Pinterest Presents event, which I hope you all attended, we announced Pinterest Performance Plus, which is our suite of automation products to help boost campaign performance and optimize ad impressions with automation and AI. So let's watch a little video here to get a feel for what Performance Plus is about.
Now, I can get the perfect balance of performance and control with AI and automation. I can do all the work, some of the work, or take a load off. Results!
Amazing. Every time I watch that video, I get pumped about how we can get the most out of Pinterest. All right, so why did we build Performance Plus? So in the past, manual optimization was required to get the most from your media investments. You were tinkering with settings, changing your bids, updating placements. You needed control over complex actions. Now, however, advances in machine learning and automation make it easier for all advertisers to succeed in a hands-off way. So those previous tweaks and adjustments, they might actually get in the way of your performance, but that doesn't mean your role is any less important. In this day and age, you should be focusing on the high quality inputs to feed the automation and drive high quality outputs. So inputs such as healthy product feeds, accurate conversion tracking, and engaging creative let Pinterest performance products thrive. And ultimately, it drives better outcomes for your brand affinity, traffic, and sales for your business. When you turn on Performance Plus for your consideration, conversion, or catalog sales campaigns, the create flow changes to a single page create flow, removing 50% of the inputs required. So turning on a Performance Plus campaign automatically defaults advertisers into a best-in-class campaign setup that defaults to our powerful AI and automation features to drive performance lift. Also, Pinterest Performance Plus campaigns are brand safe, meaning performance gains are not driven from off-platform inventory or reliance on branded keywords. And when you run a Performance Plus campaign, you can be confident that your campaigns fall within our rigorous brand safety standards. Even better, most advertisers that tested Performance Plus and used a Performance Plus campaign saw a 10% CPA or CPC improvement relative to their business's usual campaign setup. So Performance Plus campaigns are easier to create, brand safe, and they improve performance. But there isn't only just one way to engage with the Performance Plus suite. Pinterest Performance Plus products can be used in two different ways. The first way is to turn on Performance Plus at the campaign level to help maximize those performance gains. This is where you receive that simplified create flow that I just mentioned, and we automatically default your campaign into the best automation and AI to drive performance. The second way, however, is using Performance Plus products independently in traditional campaigns to help improve your performance. You can pick and choose between high visibility or high control. So now that we know how Performance Plus campaigns work, let's explore an example of how Michaels used Performance Plus to support the launch of their holiday initiatives last season. Michaels leveraged Performance Plus to drive incremental sales across lower funnel campaigns with 50% less effort required. And in doing so, Michaels drove a 7% improvement on their checkout CPA and a 9% increase on the return on ad spend, or ROAS, compared to their business as usual campaigns, which was amazing. And so now that we have a basic understanding of how Performance Plus works, it's time for a little question. So using the polling feature that's going to pop up here in the webinar console, what percentage of CPA and CPC improvements relative to normal campaign setup did most advertisers who use Performance Plus campaigns see? I'll give everyone about 3 more seconds to answer. Okay, let's see what the answer is. Do we see the results? I don't see the results coming through to show me, but if you answered 10%, then you got the right answer. So most advertisers who use Performance Plus campaigns saw a 10% CPA and CPC improvement relative to business as usual campaign setup with a substantial performance impact. So with that, let's review the Pinterest Performance Plus product suite and how these products can help improve your Pinterest advertising performance.
Thanks,
I'm going to hand it
Ashley.
off to Murali.
Appreciate it. Hey, I'm Murali, and I'm going to be taking you through a deep dive on the Performance Plus product suite. You can think of Pinterest Performance Plus products as being designed as automated ways to help get the most from your Pinterest advertising efforts across multiple objectives. Products like Performance Plus targeting, Performance Plus bidding, and Performance Plus budgets can be leveraged across campaign objectives to help improve media outcomes. New features that we've developed, like Performance Plus ROAS bidding or Performance Plus creative, can be applied to specific objectives as needed to drive lower funnel goals. So let's dive deeper into some of those newer products that I covered. For the first one, advertisers who are running Performance Plus or non-Performance Plus catalog sales campaigns, we have a new product, Performance Plus Creative, that helps drive better results with better visuals and scale. So with no effort, advertisers can automatically create shopping and collections ads from their catalog and apply generated backgrounds that replace blank or white backgrounds. I'm going to dive deeper into that generated backgrounds piece. So we want to make your pins more purchasable, more inspiring, more performant, all with less resources required. It's a tall order, and that's why we're bringing the benefits of generative AI to create engaging imagery at scale. No photo shoot required. So with Performance Plus Creative generated backgrounds, you can apply generated backgrounds to products within your catalog. You'll replace those white or blank backgrounds, help drive users to action with images that look and feel like part of the platform. In fact, most advertisers who tested this feature saw an 11% increase in checkouts and 18% higher ROAS on average when using said backgrounds compared to their original white backgrounds. Now, the other half of Performance Plus Creative is the creative optimizations piece. It lets advertisers automatically create shopping and collections ads from said catalogs, and then we rotate those to help find ads that drive the best performance and serve them more often. This way, you're helping reach the right user with the right ad format at the right time across hundreds, thousands of ad variations. And in fact, advertisers in beta testing drove 11% higher click-through rates, 10% lower cost per clicks, solely from using that format approach. The best part of this is that both of these features within Performance Plus Creative, the generated backgrounds, the creative optimizations, they operate independently. So while we recommend using both, you can use either depending on what your business needs. Each feature is toggled within the campaign creation flow. You'll see it in Ads Manager, so you know exactly where it's being used and where it's not being used. At the same time, we're developing a new bidding product that's out in beta, Performance Plus ROAS bidding. The reason it's different is because it prioritizes driving conversion value versus conversion volume. This way you're driving return on ad spend as opposed to sheer volume of product. This solution works best if your product have substantial differences in price. And you'll also need to have healthy conversion tracking via the Pinterest Conversions API and or the Pinterest tag. And finally, here's a little bit of something extra. So just for the holidays, we know this time of year brings with it sales, discounts. So we've released our new promotions product into open beta, which offers a variety of promotional messaging options to help your brand pop on Pinterest. You can create and apply promotions at the ad group level to communicate discounts, and advertisers using promotions saw a 9% increase in ROAS compared to ads without a promotion. And to get access, you can reach out to your Pinterest account team to get more details. And with that, I'll hand off to Jared to talk us through some of our success stories with Performance Plus.
Thank you very much, Murali. So periodically, advertisers that have really good success with some of our new products will have us submit success stories where they give us permission to kind of share with you all what they've seen as successful with the products and some of their experiences. So we'll take a look at 5 of those today. The first 2 that we're going to take a look at have to do with Performance Plus campaigns. So those first pieces that Ashley discussed. First one is Pandora. And the second one is Adidas. We'll go over Pandora first. So Pandora is a really great jewelry brand. They do charm bracelets. They implemented Performance Plus campaigns and saw phenomenal results. They saw a 73% increase in ROAS, a 44% increase in CPA efficiency, and a 79% increase in checkout volumes. This is one area that I really like to show for advertisers that implemented things across conversion campaigns. You can see that little creative on the right side. Pandora created really unique pins that they were able to put in front of advertisers and saw really phenomenal performance results. So this is kind of a really good example of advertisers that saw success using traditional conversion campaigns, migrating them over to Performance Plus, seeing ROAS boosts, and then adjusting their budget over. The next advertiser we'll take a look at is Adidas. Adidas is a really good example as well because they implemented Performance Plus across their catalog sale campaigns. So catalog sales being pulled in from a catalog feed, whereas conversion campaigns use those pre-made creatives. Adidas saw very strong results in their catalog Performance Plus campaigns, seeing a 22% higher conversion rate compared to their control campaigns, 40% more revenue compared to their traditional campaigns, and a 5% increase in ROAS. Reason I really like this case study is Adidas is a really complex brand that has lots of different media going. They saw a good, strong result in ROAS, and then they also were able to improve their efficiency across their team. So their team didn't have to focus as much on campaign creation and optimization and was able to really focus in on strategy and more planning. So this is a great example on how you can see performance improvements and really good efficiency improvements across your marketing team. The next 3 campaigns that we're going to take a look at have to do with our creative product suite that Murali just went over. And that has to do with creative optimizations, which are kind of those automatic creations into collections pins, and then also generative backgrounds, where we add really cool background text overlays for AI-generated backgrounds. So the first advertiser we're going to look at is Zenni Optical. Zenni is a eyewear brand. Jump over one slide, perfect. They're a really good eyewear brand. They implemented creative optimizations on their catalog sale campaigns. The biggest thing that they saw was an 80% better ROAS result than their target ROAS, and then a 3 times higher conversion rate than on their traditional prospecting campaigns. You can see that creative on the right side, how it takes that hero image, which is kind of a traditional catalog-based hero image, and then it automatically creates those collections underneath it, where it takes an overall hero image, and then it shows multiple different variants or SKUs underneath it. So a pinner can kind of go through and look at a catalog or a collection of that product and see different variants that they might want to shop. And that produces really strong results overall. The next advertiser that we're going to take a look at for creative optimizations is Walgreens. You can see on the right side, Walgreens made really strong and effective use of those really great generative backgrounds, taking those white background images that you see in that first frame, and then producing generative backgrounds where it might be put on a desk or a nightstand, for example. Walgreens saw a 55% higher click-through rate from generated backgrounds compared to those white backgrounds, and a 13% reduction in cost per clicks. This led to really strong results, and they're now using it across their campaigns. And then our final example is going to be Frontgate. Frontgate is both a brick and mortar and an online store for really high quality home furnishings. They did a great example where they took, kind of a pictures or wall frames over here on the right side, and then took generative backgrounds to put them actually on a wall with nice shadow overlays, giving Pinot a really good example of what they might look like inside their homes. And they produced those into collections so you could see multiple different types of paintings or things like that. In this example, they saw 56% higher ROAS compared to non-creative optimized campaigns, a 33% lower CPM, and a 20% lower CPC. So these examples do an excellent job of showing different types of Performance Plus features, both in conversion campaigns, catalog sale campaigns, and then also our creative optimization suite that Ashley and Murali both went through. To cover up on this topic, we're going to go through one quiz. What campaign objective can leverage the Performance Plus creative pieces that we went over? Those are the final 3 success campaigns that we looked at. Is it awareness campaigns, consideration campaigns, conversion campaigns, or catalog sale campaigns? Fantastic. Okay, great. Let's take a look at the result. If you answered catalog sale campaigns, you were correct. So catalog sales, that will be pulling in and turning creative optimizations into collections, and then also putting in generative backgrounds. And with that, I'm going to pass it back over to Ashley to go over how to implement these across your campaign suites.
Amazing. Thanks, Jared. Now that we've seen high level what Performance Plus is, we have seen some amazing case studies from real advertisers that are using Performance Plus with their campaigns and seeing success. Let's now go into a real life creation process. If you'd like, you can pull up your own Pinterest Ads Manager account and follow along. So I want to start really high level with a view about how to create a Performance Plus catalog sales campaign. We're going to be talking specifically about the catalog sales example today. So at a super high level here, you can see that we start by selecting your objective, catalog sales. You set the campaign name and status. You input your budget and duration. You turn on Performance Plus Creative. And then Performance Plus ensures you have the optimal targeting strategy. And lastly, you finish by selecting your optimization and delivery strategy. So let's dive deeper. So when you select your campaign objective, you'll notice that there is a Performance Plus sparkle indicator near each eligible objective: consideration, conversion, and catalog sales. And then there's an additional toggle below that to choose to convert the campaign to Performance Plus. You have to click that little toggle there to actually convert it. So for this walkthrough, we're going to select the catalog sales campaign, and then we're going to turn on that button to turn on Performance Plus. Next, you are going to name your Performance Plus campaign and your ad groups. So for the catalog sales objective, Performance Plus actually automatically creates you 2 ad groups. One of them is your prospecting ad group, and then we also build you a dynamic remarketing ad group. And this is going to help drive the optimal performance. Next, you have the option to auto-generate unique URL tracking parameters. This can better track the performance of your Pinterest campaigns into your third-party measurement source of truth. So for example, like a Google Analytics. So to do so, to use these UTM trackings, just click Include URL Parameters checkbox, and you can also customize them if you like. Finally, remember to set your campaign status to active for it to start spending after you hit publish. Next, we're going to select our budget option. So you have 2 options. You can select Performance Plus Lifetime or Performance Plus Daily Budget. So one of the things to know is there is no fixed daily budget option when in a Performance Plus campaign. And then you'll just set the amount. So we suggest, especially if you're testing this for the first time, enough budget for a 2 to 4 week test. So once you've set your budget, input your campaign's duration and the order line you'd like to pull from. So Performance Plus catalog sales campaigns all use the all products product group to deliver ads and drive performance. So if you need to select a different feed, maybe you have multiples, you can select those from the dropdown for whichever that you'd like, but it's always going to be, no matter what feed you choose, the all products product group. So we recommend leaving on the toggle that you'll see for creative optimizations, which is automatically going to generate those shopping and collection ads at scale. One of the things just to note when it comes to selecting feeds, if you have different feeds for different languages, let's say you have an English feed, maybe like a German feed, and maybe, a feed that's in Spanish, we suggest making one Performance Plus campaign per feed that you use so you can keep those languages separate. So next, for advertisers with a high number of product pins that have that white background, we recommend you turn on the Generate Backgrounds toggle here. And this will allow you to use generative AI to replace those white backgrounds, product pins, with engaging alternative backgrounds. Lastly, you're going to choose where to direct your traffic by selecting either directly to your website, and you can set those optional URL tracking parameters, or if you're in our mobile deep linking beta, you can direct the traffic to your app. Next up, you'll find that when we get to the targeting details section, it's quite small compared to a traditional campaign. And don't worry, that is by design. Performance Plus campaigns are powered by Performance Plus targeting, which uses our visual search technology to understand each pin's creative context and then automatically serves that pin to the relevant user without the advertiser needing to input any keyword or interest data. In this section, you can also set your targeting details, such as excluding any states or regions that you don't want to show ads to. Maybe you don't ship to Hawaii, for example. You can select the audience age or exclude or include custom audience lists. So we recommend that you minimize the number of geo exclusions that you enter just to avoid shrinking the audience pool. When you think about Performance Plus automation, it is going to always work best when it has a wide pool of potential users to optimize and test against. And that's why you'll see limited amounts of things in the targeting details section. So within Performance Plus catalog sales campaigns, as I mentioned before, you have the option to either include or exclude audience lists. So when you include an audience list, we automatically generate you a third ad group. And this is going to be your remarketing ad group. If you exclude an audience list, let's say you want this to be very prospecting focused and you want to exclude previous purchasers, that would just apply to all ad groups in the system. Lastly, Performance Plus campaign solutions only use Performance Plus bidding. We do not allow custom bids. So Performance Plus bidding dynamically will adjust your bid to help deliver the maximum number of outcomes for your budget without you having to do anything. And when defining your optimization strategy, you can choose your conversions data either from the Pinterest tag or the Pinterest Conversions API. We recommend you have both just for added coverage. And for users who select the conversions optimization strategy, you'll be able to select from checkout, add to cart, lead, or sign up to use as your conversion events for it to optimize. Once you've done that, you are done. Now, we know how to create a Performance Plus campaign. We have talked about high level what this offers, and we've even shared case studies. So the question is, who is interested in launching a Performance Plus campaign for the holiday season? And tell us in your vote. Are you interested, or do you maybe still have questions? Okay, let's move on. Amazing. It seems like 71% of you have said that you are interested in running a Performance Plus campaign this holiday season. And phew, that means we are doing our jobs here today. I'm going to pass it back to Murali to close us out with analyzing and optimizing Performance Plus campaigns.
Thanks, Ashley. And for folks who understand that Performance Plus campaigns are automated, there are also a number of adjustments that you can make to get the most from them. Let's talk about some of the ways that you can set up your Performance Plus campaigns up for success. The first thing is to make a meaningful investment. Allocating sufficient budget to scale impressions and finding the right users is critical, generally enough for a 2 to 4 week test or 5 times your cost per action goal. Also, Performance Plus conversions and catalog sales campaigns require 50 plus conversions per week to drive that performance lift we've discussed. Secondly, you want to provide a variety of ads. We're recommending a minimum of 10 ads per ad group, but frankly, more is always better. We will find the best performers, serve them more often to get those results you're looking for. And if you're using the catalog sales objective, one easy win is just use Performance Plus Creative, which will improve your ad visuals and scale with hundreds or thousands of ad variations at the click of a button. The third thing is to accurately track your conversions. Integrating the Pinterest Conversions API, aka CAPI, and or the Pinterest tag, ideally both, will help better optimize and improve campaign performance with the right tracking. So I want to dive deeper on setting an appropriate spend allocation. Firstly, set your objective based on your scale. If you have 50 plus conversions per week, you'll want to launch a Performance Plus conversions or Performance Plus catalog sales campaign. If you don't have that many conversions, start with the Performance Plus consideration campaign to drive that interest in your brand and then increase those conversion events on site before pivoting to other objectives. Next thing is to know your cost per action goals. Your daily budget should be at least 5x that goal. Then the best part is scaling them. Gradually increase your budget by 20 to 30% based on the performance you're seeing. Wait until the campaign exits learning phase, which we'll talk through in a little bit, before raising the budget again. One of the best ways to improve your Performance Plus catalog sales campaigns is by optimizing your product feed. Adding that rich metadata, that SEO keyword optimization, and ensuring detailed category product details helps Performance Plus leverage all the relevant info to help drive the right outcomes. We talked about that 10 plus ads in Performance Plus campaigns. That regular pausing of underperforming ads, replacing with new ads, that'll help feed that ability for the campaign to drive the best result. One of those new features that I covered a little bit was called Performance Plus Campaigns' learning mode. And you'll see this in reporting. You'll see this sort of little bug that shows up that says that it's learning. It's a signal that the campaign is still calibrating and that the results are not stable or indicative of overall long-term performance. So because of that, we recommend that you wait until the campaign has been running outside of learning mode for roughly 2 to 4 weeks before comparing results from that campaign to business as usual campaigns. And additionally, making changes to the budget or creative can reset learning mode as conversion events restabilize. So now that we know kind of like some of those different ways to optimize, I want you to think of optimizing Performance Plus campaigns as a cycle. The first thing you'll do is launch your Performance Plus campaign. But then second, our models will learn from your settings, the creatives, as shown by that learning mode indicator. You'll want learning mode to finish before making any changes. Once you exit learning mode, the third step is to review ad performance and pause underperforming ads. Fourth, you should replace those ads with new ones, and then you just have to repeat steps 2 through 5. This way, your campaigns are always learning and relearning with better inputs for cyclical performance gains. So what are some other ways that we can optimize ads? First off, you can test various landing pages, things like product-specific, category-specific, homepage, and review bounce rates by format and creative. This way you kind of know what works and what doesn't. You can also test mobile deep linking or non-mobile deep linking and experiment with different text overlay CTAs in your visuals. Remember to pause any pins below campaign KPIs and keep only creative that meets or exceeds your campaign goals. And after you pause those low performers, add at least enough ads to hit that 10 plus per ad group. And then testing those different formats and landing pages will help you continue to improve cyclically. Another way to hone in on performance is by editing your targeting details between demographics and audiences. The broader your targeting, the better. So keep Performance Plus campaigns unconstrained where possible. Because of this unconstrained nature, consequently, Performance Plus campaigns do not support a host of targeting options listed on this slide. So we talked about a lot of different ways to optimize. Let's bring it all together with a 6-item success checklist for Performance Plus campaigns. The first thing, ensure proper investment. So you'll set a budget aligned with your performance goals. The next thing is to prepare a mix of creative. Ensure a high volume of ads at launch and additional ads for subsequent optimizations. Third, leverage Performance Plus tools. Use enhancements like Performance Plus Creative or Performance Plus ROAS bidding to help drive additional results on top of what you're seeing. Fourth is be patient. Allow learning mode to complete before making changes. Fifth is to follow best practices. Optimize performance through test and iteration. And sixth, watch your campaigns grow. You can see your campaigns soar as optimizations cyclically pay off. We covered a ton today, so I'm going to also provide you additional resources, whether you're experienced with advertising on Pinterest or just getting started. Pinterest Academy offers a variety of online learning content to help you reach your advertising goals. If you're new to Pinterest, we recommend using our Pinterest Advertising Essentials learning path. For those looking to learn more specifically about Performance Plus, we have a series of dedicated Performance Plus courses and short videos to help you get started further. And we also love to get your feedback on this session. We do this to make sure that we're making the best of this time for our advertisers. So scan the QR code to start the survey and fill out your form. And those who do fill out said survey will receive a Performance Plus guide to help you get started on your Performance Plus journey. So with that, we'll open up Q&A. I see that we have a pretty healthy amount in the Q&A section. Thanks you all for your time. Let's take a look. Ashley, I'll hand off to you.
Yeah, let's leave this up since filling out this survey gives you access to our amazing Performance Plus guide. So we'll just leave this up while we do Q&A so that anybody can take that second and they don't miss out on the guide. I'm just going to go in order of some of the questions that we've received. One question we received was, how long does it take to see results when you start a Performance Plus campaign? I've had a campaign for a week, yet to see any conversions. My product's related to gifting, so shocked to see there's no performance so far. I would say that there is no set amount of spend, time, or like general guidance that like it will always be within set amount of time frame. What we do find is that advertisers who spend more, obviously, on a campaign in Q4, which is a high, high period, are going to be able to reach more users and have a higher probability of seeing conversions. Performance Plus campaigns, as Murali mentioned before, have a learning mode flag. So if your campaign is not out of learning mode, it means that those conversion events haven't stabilized. We haven't really been able to lock in on the ideal user for this. The other thing to remember is that Performance Plus campaigns need and want a lot of creative. So these machine learning algorithms, more inputs you give them, the better. So it could be possible to look at the creative that you have in your campaign, make sure that it's meeting the goals that you have. And if they're not, pause those pins, try launching some new pins, and really work through the creative. Make sure you have a high volume of it and that you're optimizing and turning off underperformers as you go. Another question we saw was, will we be able to exclude certain demographics in the future for Performance Plus? For example, a women's health brand who only wants to target women over 35. That's a great question. In Performance Plus campaigns, we really only have 2 age options, all or 18 plus. We will also be adding 21 plus here soon for alcohol brands. What we have found is that while an advertiser may think, oh, my product is only for women and it's only for women over 35. While you might feel that you know your audience better than anyone in the world, the reality is that there are millions and millions and millions of users on Pinterest, and there are people who might be interested in your brand that you can't even see. And what we can see through our automation is that's ingesting all these billions of signals. It can understand the right user to go put in front of your ad and drive that conversion. And so what we've found is that even though this seems really broad and you want to be able to tell us it's women over 35, I promise you our system will put the ad in front of the right user to drive that conversion, and you will be pleasantly surprised that you don't need to tell us it's best for women over 35.
Awesome. And I'll tackle another question on Performance Plus Creative, which is, what if our images are a mix of white backgrounds and images with backgrounds already? Great news here is that you don't have to sort of pick apart your own feed to only include ones with white backgrounds to use Performance Plus Creative. We will automatically identify which product catalog items are eligible for generated backgrounds and which ones aren't. If you already have a background for some of your images, we'll exclude those from background generation, and the ones we deem eligible, as in they have a white or blank background, those are the ones that we tackle for Performance Plus Creative generated backgrounds. I will say, the other half of Performance Plus Creative is creative optimizations, that sort of automatic format creation. Those can be used with pins that already have backgrounds. So either way, you'll be benefiting from each of those sub features. And I'll hand off to you, Ashley, for the question around minimum audience.
Why don't you take the next one on generated backgrounds?
Perfect. Yeah. So another question that we got on backgrounds was, what will the auto-generated backgrounds look like for images that already have backgrounds? Covered this a little bit in my previous answer, but those backgrounds will not be applied to images that already have backgrounds. So only the ones that we deem eligible that have a white or blank background would be eligible. Looking at the next question on, can I have a campaign go to my Facebook page, Pinterest, Instagram, and/or website? Ashley, I'll hand it off to you for Performance Plus campaign.
Yeah, Performance Plus campaigns can drive to the end result similar to any other campaign. So if you have a pin and your end landing page is to your Facebook page, that is fine. If it goes to your Pinterest account, your Instagram, your website, your checkout, the creative that you put in a Performance Plus campaign is the same as any pin that you would make on another Pinterest campaign, and feel free to optimize to whatever drives your business goals. I see another question here that says, how many pins do you recommend having in the Performance Plus campaigns? We recommend a minimum of 10. 10 is a nice, healthy amount of pins to help give the algorithm something to optimize against. However, more is always better. If you have 50 pins, if you have 25 pins, adding creative and giving more inputs for the algorithm to learn and iterate on is always going to be better. Another question that I see here is curious when availability to exclude pixel-based audiences in Performance Plus will be available. We currently today allow you to include or exclude CRM lists or customer lists, but we know that advertisers would like pixel-based audiences. This is something that we expect to address in Q1 with a new feature, so definitely coming soon. Let's see here. Morale's going to take the next one.
So we have a question about for catalog ads. Do you recommend combining all products in one or a few campaigns, or is it best to separate your campaigns across brands? The bigger your product feed, the more variations that we can create using Performance Plus Creative. So ideally, you want to keep those all within the same feed. This way, we have the best number of opportunities to find those ad variations and identify winners versus losers, serve the winners more often. If you feel like for your own management purposes, it's easier to split out by individual feeds, the features still work. It's just more about sort of what your preferences are. So generally, advertisers find it easiest to just have one big feed with everything in there and then have us rotate and find the winners there. I also see a question, can you show us how to customize creative? I think the question is more addressing how to use Performance Plus Creative, if I'm thinking about that correctly. Essentially, within the campaign create flow, like as you're creating your campaigns, you'll see two little toggles that Ashley walked through. One of them says generated backgrounds. One of them says creative optimizations. All you need to do is just hit those toggles and they'll be applied to your catalog sales campaigns thereafter. I also see a question on how do I gain access to ROAS bidding in my Performance Plus campaign? You'll want to work with your Pinterest account team on getting access to Performance Plus ROAS bidding because we're currently in a beta state. This way we can make sure that the product is working fully and as intended before we release to general availability. So make sure you work with your Pinterest account team to make sure it's the right solution for your business's needs. I see another question on combining all products in one or a few campaigns or separating. I think this may be a duplicate, so we've addressed that one already. I will hand over to Ashley to talk through the question around consideration versus catalog.
Yeah, there's a question here that says, I'm new to Pinterest. I was only able to use consideration campaigns, even though I uploaded my catalog. Can I use Performance Plus? So as we mentioned, you can use or transform any consideration, conversion, or catalog sales campaign into a Performance Plus campaign. There are limitations. So consideration campaigns or Performance Plus consideration campaigns are the best and easiest thing to get live with, as you don't need to have the Pinterest tag or CAPI installed. You don't need a catalog and you don't need to have like conversion events or be passing information in that way. So if anyone is new to Pinterest and they just want to get started with Performance Plus and see how Pinterest ads work, I highly recommend trying a Performance Plus consideration campaign. Consideration campaigns drive efficient traffic to your website, and that's a great way to start to see how valuable the Pinterest audience is to your business and see how many great new leads or customers or even visitors to your site we can drive. If you want to take the next step and you want to start driving sales to your website or maybe signups to your newsletter, that is where you're going to need to have something like the Pinterest tag installed that's passing events, or the Pinterest CAPI installed, passing that through the API. And if you want to go to even deeper, if you have a Google product feed, you can ingest that through Pinterest and we can start to do some of the really fun stuff through our Performance Plus catalog sales objectives. That's how you can kind of think of those from like beginner to more complex. And as you go through each one, it's probably going to have a few more steps and configurations that you have to go to. Definitely though, just start with Performance Plus consideration and get that efficient traffic in Q4. Let's see, what do we have next? We answered the pixel-based one. Does the Performance Plus campaigns cost more money? I'm confused on the budget part. Performance Plus campaigns have two budgeting options. We have Performance Plus lifetime budgets, which is just if you say I have $1,000 and I want to spend it from December 1st to December 31st, we will spend that $1,000 over the course of that month. And then we have Performance Plus daily budget. What that means is that we will flex across an average of 7 days. So if you tell us you have $1,000 to spend over those 7 days, we will flex up and down the daily budget in increments of about 25% up or down to make sure that you're never leaving conversions on the table. And so that means that we might spend a little bit more at night when a lot of people are active on Pinterest, and then we might spend a little bit less maybe in the early morning if nobody is there. And so those are your two budgeting options that you have on Pinterest. Let's see here. What objective options are there for Performance Plus? So on Pinterest, we have awareness, video views, all these other wonderful objectives. If you want to use Performance Plus, you can convert a consideration, a conversion, or a catalog sales campaign. Those are the only ones that can be converted to Performance Plus at this time. Let's see here. Here's another one. Does learning mode for a Performance Plus campaign differ from a regular campaign? This is a great question. As we mentioned, when you run a Performance Plus campaign, you have the added ability to see in ads reporting that your campaign is or is not in learning mode. And this is new, and it's just for Performance Plus campaigns. All campaigns on Pinterest do fluctuate in and out of learning mode. We're just not exposing it in Ads Manager. So Performance Plus is a great way, especially if you're new to Pinterest, to sort of test and understand how our learning mode can be engaged, how long it can take for your business at the spend level that you're at to get out of learning mode. But it is available for all, it is happening on the background for all campaigns on Pinterest. We do plan to expose learning mode for all campaigns across all objectives in 2025. But for right now, it's just kind of a perk that only Performance Plus campaigns receive. Morali, do you see any others in your creative or ROAS world you want to jump into?
I'm seeing a lot of them focused on Performance Plus campaigns, but I'm seeing if there is anything. Yeah, I think for one of them, I see if you're running ads using your catalog with feed-based ads, do you still recommend 10 ads for optimization? So that question is more focused on how many ads within said product feed makes sense to use Performance Plus Creative. The more, the better. Like 10 is a great starting point, but because a lot of product feeds can have dozens, hundreds, thousands of products, by using Performance Plus Creative on top of those catalogs, we can create said number of variations. We can create hundreds or thousands of ad variants, find the winners, serve them more often. So 10 is a good starting point, but if you have a product feed with a ton of products, that is better. I also see a question here talking through, can you add creative when it's in the learning phase? We recommend not making changes when a campaign is in that learning mode, that learning phase, largely because that can reset the progress that's been made because it's still calibrating, it's still trying to figure out what the specific performance looks like. So we want to make sure that flag kind of drops and isn't showing in the UI anymore before making any kind of material change like that. With that, Ashley, I'll hand off to you because I see a couple questions around Performance Plus features.
Yeah, I'm seeing two kind of back-to-back around learning mode. Asking, what's the typical learning mode amount of time? What's the criteria to exit? Could a campaign get stuck in learning mode? The thing about learning mode is that it is unique to every single advertiser and every single campaign. And this is industry standard. Learning mode happens as a flag to tell you that the conversion events, whether that's clicks or engagements or checkouts, whatever you're optimizing to, have not hit a stabilization point. That means that they're erratic and the system is trying to figure out the perfect cohort of users to receive like a stable conversion expectation. And so this can be different for every advertiser. It could be that your creative is not getting very many clicks, and so therefore the system hasn't found the right cohort of users. It could be that it's getting clicks, but they're falling off at the conversion event on your site. It could be that you have really low spend, and so the system has not been able to get enough events yet to kind of exit that learning mode. So it can be completely different on depending on each advertiser in each campaign. The only thing that we recommend is that once you're in learning mode, try not to change much, try not to change budget a ton, try not to change a bunch of creative so that it doesn't stay in learning mode. If you find that it feels like it's been stuck in there for a really long time, there could be a bug. Bugs happen. And feel free on our website, we have a help center and you can file a ticket on our help center and our customer service team will help identify if potentially your campaign has some sort of bug that's associated with it. So definitely if something feels a little off, let us know. And then I have one more here before I'll pass to Morali for another question. Are all advertisers eligible to use Performance Plus? Is this just US only? The wonderful thing, as of October 1st, Performance Plus campaigns and Performance Plus creative are generally available for every single advertiser in every monetizable market that Pinterest has. So there's nobody who should be blocked. There's no eligibility list, no requirement to ask for approval. If you open up Ads Manager and you go to launch a campaign, it should be there for you to use and test, and we hope you do. Morali, I'll pass back to you.
I see a question on, should you limit the amount of products that you have in your catalog? Does it matter? If anything, I would say the inverse. You don't want to limit the amount of products in your catalog. You want to keep adding to said catalog and make sure that those catalog items are being used in ad variations via Performance Plus Creative. So don't limit if you don't need to, just keep plugging away into the specific catalogs. I also see a question here talking about not scale. So the question is, do you suggest we don't scale campaigns when they're on learning mode? Correct. We don't want you to make big sweeping changes to campaigns when they're still learning. We want to make sure that you are learning, you're seeing that that learning mode flag dropped and is no longer available, and then you can make changes thereafter, but you should expect those changes to subsequently re-trigger learning mode. So it is that kind of cyclical performance process that we had talked through. I also see a question here. How long do Performance Plus campaigns last within learning mode? Mine's been in learning mode for a couple of weeks. So there isn't a set amount of time for learning mode. We've generally seen between 2 and 4 weeks. That said, if you're seeing an extended learning mode period and you haven't been making changes, reach out to us via said help center or through your Pinterest account team, because while bugs do happen, we've seen that learning mode tends to just take a little bit longer in terms of actually sort of like showing that to you. But like we mentioned earlier, it's occurring for all campaigns. We're just showing it on the front end for Performance Plus campaigns as of this moment. With that, I'll hand back to Ashley to talk through a couple more questions.
Yeah, so I see a question. Does Performance Plus work better than using a targeted audience? I know you can choose a targeted audience list, act like audience. Does Performance Plus automatically target broader audiences who might be interested in the products? The answer is yes. So one of the things that is important about Performance Plus campaigns is they're exceptionally broad. And what we do, we don't put in a bunch of audience lists. We don't put in interests and keywords. We don't set a bunch of demographic targeting, because what we're doing is allowing the system to be incredibly broad so that we can leave the machine learning algorithms to scale. So what that's able to do is it's able, and the reason we ask for so much creative, we want you to put a bunch of creative in the campaign, and our system will go and make sure that it uses our visual search technology, understands what each of your pins are about. I've seen a couple questions. Can I use video pins? Can I use collection pins? You can use all the pins that you would in a normal campaign, except for lead ads, quiz ads, or spotlight. But the rest of them, video, idea ads, standard ads, those can all be put in a Performance Plus campaign. And we go and we make sure that that pin is put in front of the right user. And so we don't need to have these sort of segmented, targeted campaigns, because we can go out and find those. And that is one of the reasons too why we see better performance than traditional campaigns, is when you open up the aperture, you create a big broad campaign, and you allow the machine learning algorithms to go find those users, you drive better performance.
So I see a question here about, do you need the Pinterest Conversions API to run Performance Plus catalog campaigns? You do not need to necessarily have just the Conversions API. You can use the Conversions API. You can always use the Pinterest tag. We recommend using both. This way you have the most robust tracking. I know in terms of timing, we've been moving really quickly to Q&A, but we're a little bit over. So just wanted to thank you all so much for like taking the time, asking such engaging questions. And as a reminder, we're going to be following up with an email and a recording. So for next steps, we do recommend jumping into Ads Manager, leveraging Performance Plus campaigns and their products wherever you want the best media outcomes. We appreciate you joining this session, and we'll actually stay on a little bit longer to answer a lot of these questions that have come through, but just wanted to make sure for folks who need to drop off that we recognize that. So thank you so much. I also see a question here about when you're doing a catalog sales campaign, you can't deselect certain items, correct? So if you're going to be using Performance Plus campaigns, you're correct that you need to use the all product toggle. You cannot be using specific product groups. And the reason being is because the more products we can choose from, the better chance our models can select the right ones to serve and deliver the right outcomes. So that all product setting is something that's hard coded in Performance Plus campaign. I'm seeing a question here on, could I run Performance Plus consideration, catalog sales, and conversions campaigns alongside each other? Are there any nuances we should consider if we choose to run all three? You should run all three. Like, we want you to be able to be driving performance across the full funnel. If you can run across those different parts, you should. And the way that we've designed this is that those different performance plus campaigns are all going to go after that specific campaign goal, that objective that you selected. So you don't need to worry about competing against yourself or duplicating efforts. They're all going after that objective that you selected. I'll hand off to you, Ashley, for a couple more questions as well.
Yeah, and the beauty about that, if you set up a performance plus consideration campaign, a performance plus conversion, a performance plus catalog sales campaign, you're building a full funnel approach on Pinterest. The consideration campaign is going to be driving those efficient clicks to your site. And then those lower funnel campaigns, conversion and catalog sales, can be capitalizing and driving those conversions. So, and the beauty is where in the past, it might have taken you multiple campaigns, traditional campaigns to set that up. Now you can just launch 3 performance plus campaigns and they can work in tandem and you can run on that success of the automation. I'm seeing a question here that says, if I run a performance plus conversions campaign, some language questions like in French, will my ads find French speakers, or a question about why can't I target a specific language, in this case Spanish, for Performance Plus. So the reason that we removed the language demographic targeting from Performance Plus is that due to the way our system analyzes and understands every pin that you submit on Pinterest, we understand that your pin is in Spanish and that will work with users who speak Spanish. So you don't need to tell us that, because we understand that about every single product, and then we go put that in front of the right user. We do find that advertisers sometimes don't want to mix. Let's say you have creative that's in Spanish, and then you have the same creative that's in French, and then you have the same creative in English. You might not want to put all 3 of those languages into the same campaign, not because we can't deliver them, but you might want to control the spend. So maybe you want to make sure that you only spend $100 on the people who speak Spanish, you want to spend $100 on English, and you want to spend $100 on French. That would be a reason to split up those languages, but you can, if you want, put all of them together in a single campaign, and we will deliver the right language to the right speaking language user. I am seeing some questions about reporting. So what kind of reporting do you receive if you run a Performance Plus campaign? This is a great question. It is different. Advertisers, you may have tested Meta's Advantage Plus, you may have tested Google's Performance Max, and you know that these automated campaign types sometimes have a little bit less visibility and reporting. So with Performance Plus, this is the same thing. With Performance Plus, we will report on the features that you can input in targeting. So you can tell us geo, like excluded states or regions. So we will report on that. We will report on the audiences that you included or excluded compared to your like prospecting versus your marketing. We will report on age, as that's an input, but you won't receive reporting on keywords and interests or devices or things of that nature. And that is because the automation is running in the back end and we don't expose all of that information. We do know that advertisers are asking for a little bit more visibility into reporting. And so that is something that we're exploring for next year, what sort of additional reporting we could offer, but we haven't aligned on exactly what it could be yet. But please feel free, especially if you have a salesperson that you work with, give them that feedback and they'll pass it to us.
I'll tackle a question around if you're doing catalog sales, you don't get to control how many pin images you have other than by controlling the number of product photos. So the way that your catalog is set up is that the products that you upload into your catalog feed are the ones that become shopping or collections ads if you're using Performance Plus Creative. The more products that you upload into said feed, the more opportunities you have to serve those as ads. If you don't have a product feed, you can't use catalog sales as an objective, so you'll want to use another one like conversions or consideration. I also see a question here that talks through, if we discontinue a product, can we remove it from a catalog without negatively affecting the campaign? The answer is it depends. If you have a really strong bestseller that is driving most of the campaign performance and you remove that from the feed, you may expect performance to drop. Vice versa, if you have a feed that all of a sudden gets a new bestseller that you've uploaded, it changes how that performance is looking, you may see better performance after updating the feed. So like I said, it depends, but I would look to see which products are selling best within your catalog and consequently making sure that those changes have expected results from those campaigns. That'll hand off to you, Ashley.
Yeah, I saw a great question. Is it important to have board titles as descriptions be SEO optimized for Performance Plus? Or is Performance Plus smart enough to just understand even if the board that you save the pins on isn't very robust? That's a great question. So while Pinterest is a visual search platform, we also are a bit of an SEO platform. Like, we're no Google, but we have a lot of SEO within us. And that is because one of the things that our system does is it visually understands what your pin is about. So it can understand what the pin is about just from doing our visual search technology. But then it also does look at the keywords that are in your pin title, your pin description, the board title that you saved it on, the board description, and it even looks at the URL that the pin is driving to. So if you have done SEO optimization for the landing pages of your website, we will also pay attention to that. It also takes into account, actions that users have taken on platform and off platform. But when it comes to the SEO optimization, it is very important for both organic and paid to ensure that the pins that you put on Pinterest are SEO optimized, from the pin itself to the boards that you save it to. While we do have things like protected boards and things of that nature that we can use, it is always best practice to think of Pinterest as an SEO optimization platform so that you can get more organic distribution and performance, as well as better performance from a paid perspective. Okay, Murali's going to close us out as we only have about 3 minutes left, and he's got 2 key questions he's going to answer before we send you all on your way to create wonderful Performance Plus campaigns.
So I see a question here. Can an advertiser see the background that Pinterest picked for using Performance Plus Creative? And the great news is that if you're using Performance Plus Creative generated backgrounds, you'll be able to see a protected board that will populate in your profile. So it's only visible to you as an advertiser. It shows all of the generations that are within said board. So you can go through and see which generations you want to keep, which ones you may not want to serve, and you can delete pins from said surface. So this way, as of late, you'll be able to see, once you have that feature going, what are the ones that populate, what are the ones that didn't, which ones do I want to keep, which ones do I not. So you'll be able to see that in a protected board if you're using that feature. I also see a question here that's talking through, it looks like we answered a couple of these. So I think that's everything that we have so far. Thank you all so much again for the engagement. We're excited to see you succeed with Performance Plus this year, especially with the holiday season coming up. And again, if you have more questions, check out Pinterest Academy and the different courses that we have dedicated to Performance Plus. It was a lot of fun. Thanks, y'all. Appreciate it.
Good luck, everyone, in Q4.